Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Create with Franz, together with Helen Buchanan, all the way from sunny Australia. Hello.
Hello.
I was just discussing, you guys have to know that Helen has a Scottish surname, but she is in Australia. So, two opposite of weather. Here I am wearing
That's
very
right.
warm clothes, and here you are from a nice sunny country. And we're going to talk about a really good topic that I hope the ladies listening to this show will really appreciate. So, the topic is self worth, especially of women, and feeling neglected, feeling rejected, feeling we're not good enough, we're not wanted. And I talked about this many times with many different people, psychiatrists, therapists, coaches, NLP, hypnotherapists, people. But sometimes you want to hear this from a person who's been through a quite difficult life experience. And through that experience, the growth that had happened has helped
Yeah.
Helen to give so much back to the world. So I want to welcome you so much to the show for sharing your
Oh,
story. I'm already grateful now.
oh, thanks, friends.
But it's really important we start from a beginning. So what
That's right.
happened? I'll give you, you have like 10 minutes to start talking about what was going on, how you felt, what was going on in your life, so people can see where your story comes from and why you are so good at helping people then who've been through the same. Off you go. It's all yours.
Okay. So I started um where oh gosh. Now, did you want my not the birth story just yet? It's how I became to be a coach.
You could do that. Yeah, that's great. How did you become a coach?
So I had a lot of life traumatic experiences happen in just a small amount of time. And I really was coming back from my half sister's funeral, and I saw the oxygen mask. Everyone knows that when you're sitting on a plane, that when you sit and you watch the safety spiel, that they talk about you must put on that oxygen mask before you hand it to anyone else, like your child. And it was at that profound moment that I realized I had to look after me. I had to stop pleasing everyone else and put myself first. So that's where my journey started in terms of, and I signed up to be a life coach and did a lot of training, and that really made me understand what I was all about. I was so disconnected from myself that I had to really heal my inner wounds before I could start helping other people. And yes, and then I realized with all of the past traumatic experience that I'd had, they had it all had to do with my childhood. And it was at that stage where I realized when I was first born, I had a contract on my head that the minute I was born, I was to be whisked away and be adopted. However, my mum decided to keep me. And with that, my grandmother stood at the foot of the bed and said, well, if you keep her, I will disown you. And so if you there's the feelings of rejection, abandonment, and not feeling good enough to be kept. And then with that, because I was already under a contract to be adopted out, I then had to be adopted out for a whole month as baby Vicky. And then and that was at the most crucial time, when that's where a newborn is bonding with their mum, and I didn't get that time. And it's only years later, after doing all the inner work and healing on myself, that I realized why I had identity problems, why I've always not been able to attract the good relationships because I didn't feel good enough. I didn't think I deserved it, and I would self-sabotage because of the um, as soon as it started to go right, then I was like, no, obviously my self-sabotaging skills turned up, and I realized I needed to do inner work. Yes.
Wow, that can I just stop you there? Because when I say as soon as something good was about to start happen to
Yes,
me, then I just put this wall emotionally thinking, no, it can't be me.
that's right. Yes.
How many women do that? Lots of men as
Oh,
well.
that's right. Yep. So many women.
Yeah.
That's right. It's
And that's
being
why
able to be aware of it.
yeah. So we end up maybe being on anti-anxiety, antidepressant, and pills and medication and all
That's right.
sorts. But if we look back, all this stuff that happened to us when we were younger has such a huge influence because when we are little, even when we're teenager, let's say, we have
Yes.
a rather simple mind, don't we? We think that everything is stuck like that, it will never change, because our
Yes.
brain cannot see the future. Have you ever seen a
That's
5-year-old
right.
plan his future? When I'm a pension, I'm gonna do no.
That's right.
You go into the car and the child is like, "Are we there yet?" Even if a 3-hour long trip, "Are we there yet?" Because they don't understand this tomorrow thing. So in the same way, we have these emotions and we feel like, well, we're not really wanted and loved. That's how it is. And I live in the present, and that's how it's always going to be. Because for me, the present and the future are flattened. That's how it feels to
Yes.
me. So, did this problem then follow you for all your youth? So you always felt like you were not wanted, and but you didn't realize why?
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. And I was a little rebel when I was a teenager. I started getting into a few addictions in terms of smoking and drinking. And, that long ago, we weren't taught how to deal with all those feelings. And I had no idea what was going on, what
Hmm.
was really underlying underneath all those beliefs and patterns that were turning up. And so you'd head for and emotionally eating. I really struggled with that as well. So there was a lot of stuff I dealt with. Yes.
Yes. So there were layers, right? So the eating
Definitely, yes.
wasn't just, oh, she doesn't know what good food is. You probably knew what good food was, but there was something there. Was there a mechanism there that you think there was just trying to soothe the pain, just to calm down this negative stuff coming back? And you were trying to kind of, no, just gonna
Oh
smolder
gosh,
it.
yes. Yes, indeed. Um, yes, lots of times over the years. And then you would think, the emotional eating was a big thing, and then alcohol, which I don't drink anymore now. So, and then, you'd start with the emotional eating, you'd think, okay, well, I'll start a new diet and I'll be really good. But now that I know from a coaching aspect and healing that cold turkey can be one of the hardest things, because as soon as you're emotionally triggered with something in front of you, then you're straight back to your old habits, because your ego is trying to keep you safe, thinking, oh, no, 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 this isn't a safe experience because I remember that bad experience you had last time. So, no, 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 let's go back to eating some food because that calms you down.
Yes. Yeah, isn't it true that we do that? If we have not worked on those situations and processes that happen that have caused our feelings of not being loved, then the stuff will come back. We might even be therapists
Yes.
ourselves. We might be psychotherapists, psychiatrists. We
Yes.
might have degrees from Harvard and Stanford, but we still, if we have not done this inner work, to
Yeah,
move on and move out from the space of being unwanted from maybe the parents or the peers, maybe in the job, whatever. Because when we feel we're not good enough, we're not
that's
loved,
right.
even just losing a parent, for example, I think is a tragic experience for a child.
Yes.
And so when we don't work on that, it will resurface. So even if we done a diet or a detox or something specific, but we haven't worked on the emotions, these emotions want to be processed. So that's
Yes.
very
My gosh.
important.
Yes.
Yeah. So what was your process then for healing, for moving on?
So with the life coaching course, and I've done a lot of different modalities. I've applied what I help others with, and I've had some profound transformations. So there is Advanced Conversational Hypnosis, and I've also started a new course of heart healing and healing the heart. So I've also been doing that as well. It just gives you massive insights and ahas to why these patterns turn up and the self-sabotaging. But one of the most profound transformations I had was about 2.5 years ago, where I had been binge drinking a bit because of COVID. I was lonely as well at a particular time, and I got some help from another coach who does exactly what I did, and I stopped binge drinking and I stopped drinking alcohol. I don't just the problem's completely gone, because as we know, just drinking the binge drinking is just the surface. It's just a symptom, it's not the real problem. So once we got rid of the problem, I stopped, and then a month later I ended up it opened up another door, and I ended up finding a new man, and it's just next level the way that I get treated now. Not like the past relationships where they were toxic, because I hadn't healed the inner wounds. Yeah.
That's incredible. And that is something that I got with a lot of my clients in the past. They came to me with maybe anxiety, panic attacks, addiction to professional medication that was given to them. So they were attached to this medication, otherwise we couldn't
Yes,
exist.
that's
But it was
right.
really the lack of self-worth because of growing up in a toxic
Yes.
environment.
Huge lack of
Yeah.
self-worth.
And because of that, they had not set boundaries. So when they met a
That's it.
partner, they allowed this partner to do whatever because he was the first person showing interest. And then as the partner became abusive, they thought, oh, it must be me. And so they would just swallow and remain in this toxic relationship. And it was so amazing to see the person claiming back their royalty and say, no, wait a minute,
Yes,
I deserve to be loved and to be respected. I'm
exactly.
a human being. So no matter
Yes.
what happened to me, I'm of worth, and that is a
Mm,
huge thing of our profession, isn't it? To see the people realize, actually, I'm just as good as you are as a person. I have my value. So
that's
wow.
right. And it was amazing because I'd let go of so much that I was hanging on to in those unprocessed emotions.
Mm.
And yeah, I felt empowered. I had inner peace within me. So then I was mirroring out inner peace as well, and acceptance and stuff like that. So I was able to really call in who I deserved, and oh my gosh, it's just incredible.
So that makes a huge difference when we think ourselves to be a good, loving person, although we all have goals and we all try to improve.
That's
So
right.
that's not to say we should never improve, but we are worth of something. And we irradiate this light and power and desire to
Yes,
be better. And the other people are attracted to that.
that's
And
exactly,
in the
yes.
same way, when we have this needy, clingy, victim, worried, very small, sit in the corner person, we might be attracting sometimes good people, they want to help us, but a lot of times we might be
Mm,
attracting narcissist behavior people,
that's right,
toxic,
yes.
abusive traffickers, and all sorts of weird people. They will kind of make us believe things that are not true about ourselves.
Yes, I definitely know all about that. Yes, I had
Yeah,
certainly attracted those kinds of relationships,
yeah.
and it really brought my self-worth down so much. And people think that they don't want to get into another relationship because they're so badly burnt that they refuse to, and then they'll get stuck because then they also think and they believe that they can't find anyone else. They'll remember the little good points about the past relationship and think, oh, but we had good times, and think, I'll never be able to find someone who we had good times with. But you forget about all those other horrendous times where your self-worth was really pushed down and
Mm.
squashed.
Yeah. So if let's pretend that there is, there's an audience in front of us, and there'll be some people, especially ladies, who are coming now with that situation. They might be stuck in a job they absolutely hate. They don't have the courage to move because they
Yeah.
don't think they're good enough. Or they might be stuck in a family where one of the parents is just totally neglecting them and they feel awful. They might be at school, they get bullied all the time, they cannot react. They might be able to stay in their career but never get better because they don't have the courage to talk. Or they might have serious
Yes.
problem with addiction, binge
Yes.
eating,
Binge
all sort
drinking.
of problems that depends on the scale. That can be quite life changing. So if you just saw them today for 5 minutes, I wanted to give them 2 or 3 steps to take so they can start seeing the light, what would you suggest they do?
Is focus on how you want to feel in your ideal world. What does your ideal world look like, and connect to those feelings? It's focusing on those feelings for the future, what you want. We're forever stuck in the past, and being present is the most amazing thing. And to be able to accept what happened in the past is the past, but I highly recommend is spending some time sitting with exactly what you want. What do you desire? What lights you up? What is your why?
Hmm.
And the more that you can dig into those and connect to those good feelings and reconnect to yourself is just amazing. It's really can be quite profound.
True. And I always say, if after you try to get to yourself, you hear this negative committee chattering, I always talk about a negative committee. That's part of my
That's
show.
right. Yeah.
I would say, tell them to shut up, because
Oh
a negative
gosh.
committee is this habit, isn't it? This ingrained habit of shutting ourselves down. Because
That's right.
we,
Yeah.
especially women, don't we tend to do this all the time? We are so compassionate and helpful with the other people, and we encourage them. Oh no, you're so good. Keep doing this. You're so great. But then when we ask the same question to ourselves, can I do that? Can I change my career, my partner, change house, change state, change my health? Oh, I can't do that. I'm just stupid. I'm so slow. I'm a fat
Yeah.
slob. I'm not smart enough. We just tell ourselves such a bad story all the time. And
Oh,
so
that's
that
right.
that's familiar, isn't it? Sometimes we say things that are very rude to our own soul. And that's the point when we realize if we can't do it on our own, then that's when we go and see a coach, a
Yes.
therapist, or a hypnotherapist, or a psychotherapist, whatever we think is gonna work. And that's when you go and contact people like Helen Buchanan or me or any
Yes.
other person, because we're not here to sell you services. We're here to get you out of the shell and change your life today, aren't we?
Oh, yes, that's exactly right. Yeah.
What
And
happens? What
the
happens when you do
emotion.
that?
Oh, watching people who have seen me, who have worked with me, is just incredible. I had someone with severe PTSD who couldn't even go to the doctors and have their blood pressure taken, and just after two sessions with me, they were, they just felt so much lighter, as if the world had lifted off their shoulders. And they really got some ahas into what was really going on underneath. And
Mm.
yeah, the fact that they couldn't love themselves, and being and accepting. And it's also being able to be aware of what's coming up. So the emotional triggers that we get, it's really just being, and that inner critic, being aware. And I have just this amazing thing, a little process that we're able to deal with those when they arise with the emotional triggers. And it's yeah, it's a part of it, being aware. So that's being able to help the client as well. Um, just some of the things are just incredible, of how I've seen, they go off and get married. They think, oh, I haven't got anyone, I'm in a small town, and next thing they've found their love, their soulmate. And I've got a few people that have gone off and gotten married. It's just the most fulfilling thing, serving people and watching their life change, because they're about to able to empower themselves and, yes, form boundaries that they have never been able to do before.
Absolutely. I'm so thankful, Helen, that you came to the show, it was so
Oh,
good.
friends, thank you so much for
Yeah.
having me.
Yeah, it was fun, and I think we got a lot of principles here. I don't like very long shows because I think most
Yes.
people, after 2 or 3 minutes, they just wander off and go away, unless you're a very famous person. We're not famous yet, not yet. We might look back in the future and say, the first show, Franz, Sidney, and
That's
see where
right.
she was with a little camera, a little Logitech camera, and laugh about it. But the important thing for me is to get these people to see that change is possible and that we can
That's
change our
right.
life. And
Yes,
I love
indeed.
to have all these therapists like you who have been through hell and back, and now
Yes.
they're in another stage of their life.
Yes.
Just so
Oh,
amazing.
that's
Mm.
right. I'm on the other side.
Yes, and now you can, go back and see the people who are still swimming in these rough waters.
Yes,
You can
that's
extend
exactly
your
right.
arm and you can pull them out,
Yes,
and they have to
exactly.
grab
Yes, pull them out.
and come out, and then they have to use their strength because, the therapist does 50% of the work, but the other 50% is done by the client or the patient. And they come out, and if they put their shoulder to the wheel, we say in a song we sing in my church, and they get to this point where they can really heal. And that is the whole
Yeah.
purpose of this show, is to create the life that you
Yes,
want by taking
that's
that
right.
action.
Yes, that's
That is
right.
so good. So thank you again for being here.
Thank you, friends.
So, guys, I
So
hope you
grateful.
loved being with Helen today, and I hope you will click like, share, subscribe. You know what to do, and share it with
Yes.
some friends who might want to reclaim his life and really live the life that they deserve. So, I'll see you all next week. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.